Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is AIDA KHIKMAH and my friend INDAH RIZKIYANI. We will present our discussion about language, gender, and power. First is enactment of gender in language use. Social linguists such as Holmes and Meyerhoff discuss the distinction between gender-exclusive speech difference and gender-preferential speech features, and support this notion of gender-exclusive language use with examples from Japanese women and men for some lexical items. For example, a woman addresses her father by calling him Otsusan, and a man addresses his father by calling Oyachi. Gender is also signaled in non-linguistic features. Gender juga ditandai dalam fitur non-linguistik, yang mana aspek yang menonjol terutama terdiri dari dimensions of everyday discourse as topic uptake, silence, styles of talk, requesting information, and functions of tag questions. Certain use of language from word choice to speaking styles are still linked negatively to female gender and serve to construct and reinforce social difference. Cultural difference abound in this regard as well, resulting in markers of being female as highly valued and therefore desirable. And then next is definition. In this slide, explain that definition of gender. Many people assume that gender is same with sex. In fact, they have different definition. Jadi, banyak orang menganggap bahwa gender dan seks itu mempunyai pengertian yang sama, padahal keduanya mempunyai pengertian yang berbeda. Sex is designation based on biology, whereas gender is socially and psychologically constructed by the process of interaction in the family, social and education settings. Gender is not something we have, but something we do, something we perform. Sex is a biological categorization based primarily on reproductive potential, whereas gender is the social elaboration of biological sex. It means that seks adalah sesuatu yang dibawa saat seseorang lahir, sedangkan gender merupakan sesuatu yang tidak dibawa seseorang ketika dilahirkan. And then next is language and gender. Language and gender refers to the relationship between the language of male and female. Gender difference is not only a reflection of the speech between male and female, but also a reflection of their different living styles and attitudes. Gender difference is a popular research in many fields, such as in psychology, in social linguistics, and in female study. In these fields, the difference between male and female in many aspects have been studied from different angles with different methodologies. Jadi, language dan gender itu mengacu pada hubungan antara bahasa man and woman. Perbedaan gender merupakan penelitian terpopuler di berbagai bidang, dan banyak yang bilang bahwa terdapat perbedaan antara gender jika dilihat dari berbagai sudut pandang yang berbeda. And then, gender and power. Power has a role to play in any consideration of gender, race, ethnicity, and class. Just as gender cannot be viewed as only a local, situated construction in the course of a specific instance of talk, the study of power in discourse is part of the woodwork, as it is abandoned the practice, values, and worldviews of the participants and cannot therefore be ignored in the pragmatic meaning of talk. Tadi tentang power dalam wacana itu adalah bagian dari woodwork, karena tertanam dalam praktik, nilai, dan pandangan dunia, dan karena itu tidak dapat diabaikan dalam pembuatan makna pragmatis dalam pembicaraan. Perspektif yang sama diambil dalam hal ini tentang analisis kekuasaan dalam menilai makna yang dimaksudkan pembicara. As with gender, participants enact their background knowledge and beliefs about power and further attach features to others in the situation that entail attention to power even though there is no explicit mention of it. Power merupakan objek studi pragmatik yang dipertimbangkan.
Okay, I'll continue the explanation from AIDA, that is language and power. Key thing, explain that power as the ability or capacity to perform or act effectively, to exert control over others. Jadi, kita menjelaskan bahwa power adalah kemampuan seseorang untuk perform atau berlaku secara efektif, juga untuk mengontrol orang lain. In sociolinguistics, it is concerned with how language produces and reproducing the underlying structures of power and control in a society. Power often demonstrated and can be achieved through language. The form of power being implemented through language isn't only occur in public, also in individual homes. Jadi, power dalam sebuah bahasa itu tidak hanya nampak pada komunikasi di publik, tapi juga di kehidupan sehari-hari di rumah. The importance of power relation between and among interact and are embedded in the complex workings of cross-cultural pragmatics, display of politeness, institutional talk, to name only a small number of domains, and this often taken for granted aspect of language use. There are several ways of power that is visible in everyday language use, such as when nurses, medical personnel, and patients address medical doctor by formal terms of address such as Dr. Murphy or Dr. Patel. And also in student in educational context do call their teachers by their first name in many parts of the world, but can do so with an honorific. Miss Virginia, Miss Katie, Sir Jeff, and others. Then, power and communicative function. An analysis of the communicative function of utterance illustrates the role of a variety of factors, including gender, but not exclusively about gender, in a speaker's decision-making about signaling pragmatic meaning. A frequently cited stereotype of women's talk across language is that speakers sound tentative and seeking approval, according to the research about question check of lack of contrast, according to Cameron, McAlinden, and O'Leary. Question tag is allows communicate hesitation and the seeking of agreement. Jadi analisis fungsi komunikatif dari sebuah ujaran itu menggambarkan peran dari beberapa faktor termasuk gender, tapi tidak secara eksklusif tentang gender dalam speaker decision making, pembuatan keputusan speaker tentang pragmatic meaning. Banyak stereotip tentang pembicaraan wanita yang menggunakan question tag, bahwa itu selalu apa yang mereka ucapkan selalu meminta persetujuan. Tetapi menurut Cameron dan McAlinden dan O'Leary, question tag itu tidak selalu meminta atau mencari persetujuan dari lawan bicara, but They state that there are two functions of question text. The first one is modal text, where the speaker uses a text to express uncertainty, thus requesting information or confirmation of the information. And the second one is affective text, or address-oriented, expressing attention to the addressee, acting as form of mitigation or politeness, and as the invitation to join in talk. Then, gender and power in interactions being men. There was an example of interview talk of an interviewer with Mick, who had been elected as the president of his fraternity, which showed that this example illustrates an instance of co-constructions of masculine gender. This analysis pulls out of the naturally occurring talk micro-features such as word choice, markers of informal American English style, and a grammatical non-standard form, as well as more macro-pragmatic aspect. By answering the interviewer's question concerning his being elected president of a fraternity on a university of his campus, Mick externalizes his view of himself as a male with features he believes to be attractive for the position. The last one is imperatives in the workplace. There was a study of the use of directives or imperatives in the workplace that tend to correlate with enactments of power by Finn. It focused on the role of the social and discourse context on the speech aids expressed by 3 managers, 1 male and 2 female. Earlier research on male managers has promoted the view that they are likely to be more direct in asking subordinates to carry out activities in the workplace. Finn suggests that an appropriate interpretation of the result indicates that the male manager demonstrates awareness of gender differences as much as the woman managers. In conclusion, when considering both social factors of discourse context, the male manager expressed directives with a variety of linguistic forms and strategies such that the variation was very similar to the language use of the female managers. Gender does appear to play a role, although there are other complicating factors. Thank you.